For years, German football has been dominated by one force, one powerhouse, and one club. A club that no matter what always seemed to find a way to win in the big moments. A club that no matter how strong you are, they always found a way to get stronger and stronger. Many clubs have tried to knock them from their pedestal in the past, and many have also failed along the way. Until one man and one team came along. This is how Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen achieved the impossible. So as I said before, Bayern Munich have dominated the Bundesliga for years, literally a whole decade. However, 2024 was the year that everything was about to change, and where Bayern Munich's dominance would come to an end. But before that, let's take a look at the man behind it all, who changed everything for Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso, who had previous coaching jobs as an under-14 coach at Real Madrid, as well as a head coach of Real Sociedad B in Spain. And despite rumours of him becoming the manager of Borussia Mönchengladbach, Alonso was eventually appointed as the head coach of Bayer Leverkusen in the 2022-23 season, who at the time of his appointment were facing Bundesliga relegation, sitting second from bottom. So obviously when a relegation threatened team appoints a new coach 9 games into the season, that not only is new to club football but also new to managing as a whole, you would expect there may be some sort of struggle. Well, not so much, as in his first game, Xabi Alonso managed his team to a 4-0 victory against Schalke, and after some time adjusting to the German league, Alonso managed to take Leverkusen from the depths of the relegation zone all the way into 6th place in his debut season as a manager, and also taking them to the Europa League final as well, where they were knocked out by Jose Mourinho's Roma. But all of this was just a sign of things to come. Alonso started off the season by bringing in new recruits, such as the likes of Benfica's Alejandro Grimaldo, Mönchengladbach's Hoffmann, and former Arsenal midfielder Granit Xhaka, setting up his team in a 3-4-3 formation with an emphasis on using a possessive style of football, which plans to pass out of the opposition press and counter-attack, winning their first game of the season 3-2 against Leipzig, pushing to the top of the table after 3 games, beating Mönchengladbach and Darmstadt, only conceding 3 goals along the way. And just 4 games in, Leverkusen were hit with their first big test against Bayern Munich, and with goals from Grimaldo and Palacios, Leverkusen went on to draw the game 2-2. And after only 11 games in, Bayer Leverkusen were top of the table, conceding only 5 goals from open play. By the start of December, Alonso had to face his 2 toughest games so far, against Borussia Dortmund and Stuttgart. And despite struggling, Leverkusen remained unbeaten, drawing both games 1-1, and going on to successfully win their next 4, with their key players such as Wirtz, Frimpong, Boniface providing the goals in big moments. And after a dramatic 3-2 win against Leipzig and a goalless draw against Mönchengladbach, Leverkusen continued their unbeaten run and sat 2 points above Bayern Munich, who were lurking straight behind. However, everything was about to change for Bayern when Alonso and Leverkusen tactically outclassed Bayern Munich and saw them win 3-0 at home against the champions, with goals from the likes of Jeremy Frimpong, Grimaldo and Stanisic, sending them 5 points clear at the top of the table. And despite losing their top goal scorer Boniface through injury, this didn't affect them at all, and Leverkusen continued their form. And after another dominant performance against Werder Bremen, with goals from Boniface, Xhaka and a Florian Wirtz hat-trick, Alonso and Leverkusen finally achieved what seemed to be impossible, winning the Bundesliga for the first time in their club's history, in Alonso's second season as a manager, and his first full season, after going 16 points clear of Bayern with 25 wins, 4 draws and 0 losses, making them Europe's first invincible team since Juventus in 2012. And despite some very strong rumours of going to Liverpool next season to replace Jurgen Klopp, it looks like Alonso is deciding to stay in Germany, for now anyway. And to be honest, you can't blame him, given what he's already achieved in such a short period of time, recruiting some really underrated players and making them into title winners. And it wouldn't surprise me if some of the big clubs come in the summer and try and take some of these players. And to be honest, in the future, I think many of us will look back on this season and say it was one of the best underdog seasons in history, going all the way from the relegation zone last season all the way to winning your first league title over a club that has dominated the league for an entire decade. And it's not just the Bundesliga title that can be achieved for this Leverkusen side this season, as at the time of me recording, Leverkusen has a chance to complete an invincible treble, a treble without losing a single game, something that has never been achieved in the history of the sport, with the closest team being Ajax in 1995, who lost just 1 game after winning the Eredivisie, Dutch Super Cup and the Champions League. But now Alonso and his team have the chance to do it themselves, as at the time we're recording, Leverkusen are in the DFB Pokal final against Kaiserslautern and also the Europa League final against Atalanta, after making another incredible comeback against Roma in the Europa League semi-final, scoring 2 goals in 17 minutes after trailing 2-0, making it 2-2 and sending Leverkusen through on aggregate, and to be honest, it's entirely possible for Leverkusen to achieve what seems impossible. With only 4 games left for the season at the time of me recording, and to be honest, this season it just looks like Leverkusen just can't seem to lose, making comeback after comeback after comeback. 2-2 against Roma, 2-2 against Stuttgart with a 96th minute goal, 1-1 against Dortmund with a 97th minute goal, 1-1 against West Ham with an 89th minute goal. The list goes on and on and on. They've been making these ridiculous comebacks all season, and to be honest, if they manage to complete this ridiculous invincible treble, they'll most likely go down as one of, if not the greatest achievement in football in history, and probably one of the best sides in football history. What do you guys think? Where does this Leverkusen team sit in terms of being one of the best underdog teams in football history? I know there's other teams like Leicester who had a similar story, but to go invincible and not lose once with only 4 draws as well is extremely impressive, considering they were up against a European powerhouse with limited money and resources. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have enjoyed, please be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. This has been Discussing Ball.